Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Game-Based Learning in the World Language Classroom. The why, the what, and the how. We are still on Section 1 explaining why we do game-based learning. I'm Madame Sensei. I teach Spanish, French, and Japanese to high schoolers out here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. If you want to help me work on any games, I'm at studio-nemo.com, or the Minecraft Education Ambassadors, or the Minecraft Teachers Lounge, or the Duolingo Educators Network. We're still looking at Hattie effect sizes because there's a lot of them, and game-based learning will help you get to all the high-impact Hattie effect sizes. Today, we're going to see our first Hattie effect size that doesn't specifically relate to game-based learning. All right, first of all, let's talk about self-efficacy. Remember, we're going in order of the most powerful till we get to 0.6. We're only on 0.92 right now. For self-efficacy, we can draw a simple and straightforward line to improving students' self-efficacy. Look, by playing a game more than once or twice, a student becomes more confident in their capacity to win or at least be successful in the game. Teacher credibility, Hattie effect size 0.9. Okay, just kidding. What you do here has nothing to do with you being cool. Trust me, you are not cool. Take it from someone who is not cool. This has to do with, do you understand the game you're playing? Could you sit down and play it with your students? Can you give them clues when they get stuck? Can you explain the rules to them? Can you get enthusiastic about the game? Do you have a solid reason for why you chose this game to help the students work on their skills and to give a good formative or summative or both assessment of how the students are doing with this skill? All of these things give you that teacher credibility that is so crucial. Micro teaching review of lessons, Hattie effect size 0.88. Okay, so I generally whip out my camera and film my students, not their faces, because you'll see a lot of the pictures I have are just like neck down, okay? Filming their faces usually raises their effective filter. So just I film their hands, the game board cards, or what they're doing with their manipulatives. Then I watch it after school. Maybe I show it to my colleagues. Maybe I post it to the Duolingo Educators Forum or my YouTube channel right here, inviting comment. Maybe I show it to a teacher or fellow students in the class I'm taking, because I take a lot of classes, or to cohorts in a book study group. I put links to books I'm writing and stuff. So the reason I do this is because Richard Feynman famously said that if you could teach something to an 8-year-old, then you understand it yourself. And then, of course, Hattie at that point came out with his Hattie effect size of 0.88 of micro teaching review of lessons. Okay, so now you know my secret motivation for writing this book and for making this YouTube series. By reflecting on my teaching, by what I've done and what I'm doing, my reasoning for doing it, describing to my imagined reader or viewer what went wrong, how I'm going to tweak it next time, inviting feedback, I'm actually working on my own teaching. So before the book ever gets published, I'm going to have reflected upon, shown these little videos to hundreds and hundreds of people. Get everything perfectly refined. So does this specifically have to do with playing games? No. The students do like to show off their games. I had so many videos that when Duolingo asked for submissions for the TikTok channel during American Education Week on November 2022, I was able to inundate them with videos of my students playing a million different games. My students were very proud to show off. But no, this Hattie effect size has nothing to do with playing games specifically. But I will say, since micro teaching deals with short lessons, don't forget that some of the best games are only 10 to 15 minutes in length. Transfer strategies have a Hattie effect size of 0.86. Basically, students take what they apply and know and transfer to other scenarios. So by playing a game, you're getting more creative output. The students are not merely memorizing a sentence and parroting it back. Okay, I have a lot of colleagues who are very old school and, they've been teaching for 30 years. And certainly when I went to school and learned in a classroom setting, a lot of it is just, Here's a sentence frame, parrot it back. Okay, you've got it memorized now. And that does have its place, but you're not going to get authentic output from that. Okay, so that I really love playing games because the students are really applying their skills, and they're thinking of different ways to apply them. The other thing is that all the metacognition you're going to teach your kids about, hey, this is why we're playing the game, this is how we play the game, how do you feel you did on the game, what are your next steps, how are you going to win the game tomorrow, all of that metacognition they can take to other classrooms. They can take to their English class, they can take to their math class, they can take their science class, they can take it to their PE class, they can take it to their music class, they can take it to their horticulture class. It doesn't matter. All of the techniques you teach them on how their brain works and how to learn are going to help them in all of their classes. Lifelong learners, right? Classroom discussion. Boy, I really like this picture, don't I? But here's the students are discussing with each other. You can see in his hand. It's just perfect. Classroom discussion has a Hattie effect size of 0.82. Okay, this is solidly in the wheelhouse of game-based learning. All right, students improve communication skills. They're voicing opinions. They're screaming at each other while they play the game. You as a teacher, you work the room, you make note of which students have grasped the skill that you taught and which need some more scaffolding or practice time. And you just listen to their wonderful classroom discussions and keep pushing them to be in the target language. Scaffolding has a Hattie effect size of 0.82. It is so easy to scaffold for a game. I talked about that in episode 2. You just simply put a series of sentence frames on the board, or you can print them and hand them out. But a lot of times my games are on the fly. Your confident students are going to toss the printout into their backpack. Don't worry about them. Your less confident students are going to keep glancing up at the board or down at their cheat sheet just so they can feel like they don't want to say anything wrong, so they're just going to glance at it, okay? If you've cooked your baked potato properly, as it were, remember I told you about Shelley Moore, her Dr. Baked Potato? Students, you're going to find they're going to self-select their level of scaffolding. All right, you don't have to worry. Nobody's going to be cheating. The students that need the scaffolding are going to use it. The students that are just about there, they're going to glance at the scaffolding, or they just feel better having it in their hands. And your high flyers, they're not even going to look up. Okay, you can gradually cover words on the board as the days go by, or you can erase words, or you can challenge the students not to look. I often include this metacognitive shade in the bar for how much you had to look at your notes today as an exit ticket. Okay, then you know what? I glance at these, but these don't go in the grade book. This is just a formative assessment for me of how quickly can I remove the scaffolding. And the students are thinking about, when you ask this question, they're thinking about, oh yeah, I did look at my notes a lot. Maybe I better do something different next time. Deliberate practice has the Hattie effect size of 0.79. This is also solidly built into any appropriate game. This is effortful repetition. It's adjusted through feedback at the table and from you, the teacher, working the room. Of course, the specific goal of playing the game is improving the performance of the student's skill. So we've got the deliberate practice part sewn up. In our next episode, more Hattie effect sizes.